Is the ImoLaza ET Master the ultimate upgrade for your home sprinkler system? Stay tuned as we find out. Welcome back to TechAutos. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tech and automotive reviews. Today we're returning to the world of smart home automation with the ImoLaza ET Master Smart Sprinkler Controller. Some of you might remember our popular review of the Wyze sprinkler controller from a few years ago. That was a sleek, disruptive entry in the market. However, in recent months, we've encountered issues with Wyze's cloud weather forecasting. It's been tough to find the controller in stock, and there are reports Wyze is not honoring the one-year cloud subscription that is supposed to be included with new purchases. So when ImoLaza reached out to send us their controller for review, we thought it would be worth exploring another new entrant in the market. Thanks to ImoLaza for sponsoring this video. They had no control over the contents of our review. ImoLaza sells 4, 8, 12, and 16 channel versions of its ET Master sprinkler controller. Now, you could theoretically control a sprinkler system with manual switches, so the real reason to get a digital controller is to make your life easier with automation, and ImoLaza's focus on software algorithms makes a lot of sense. The company is targeting irrigation enthusiasts with a range of built-in AI solutions. Their watering duration expert, smart weather genius, and intelligent ET Master. These features optimize watering duration based on garden parameters, integrate very precise weather data, and calculate daily water requirements for a claimed water savings of up to 60%. The product's very name, ET Master, refers to ImoLaza's real-time evapotranspiration algorithm. Evapotranspiration is the process of water moving from the Earth's surface into the atmosphere. It's a combination of evaporation, which is water moving from soil and other surfaces directly into the air, and transpiration, which is evaporation from pores and plant leaves. Interestingly, ImoLaza also has a Pro series that scales the same tech up to 30 zones and adds a few more capabilities. Today we have the 8-channel version of the ET Master in for review. Let's get started. From the get-go, the box highlights a bunch of software features: the intelligent watering decision model, the number of weather stations, and over-the-air updates. On the right we see more software features: rain and saturation skips, season adjustments, winterization. Water smarter, not harder. Apparently the sprinkler controller is from the future.
You built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Some other features highlighted here. Software features detailed here again. On the front we just have ImoLaza's logo. Now let's open the box. Here we have a support QR code. Here's the user manual. It shows the box contents. The controller is meant for indoor installation, which is fine for most setups, but ImoLaza does sell an ABS outdoor enclosure if needed. For legacy reasons, sprinkler controllers operate on 24 volts AC, so the included power adapter is actually an AC-AC step-down converter from 120 to 24 volts. A system diagram. If you have existing physical rain sensors, ImoLaza should work with up to 2 of those. It will also work with pump-dependent sprinkler systems. Of course, we'll need the mobile app. A legend on status LED indicators. Here are the manual watering buttons on the controller, and some FAQs. Moving on, here are some peel-away stickers to label your existing sprinkler wiring. We have a wiring diagram here, and a guide to the physical connectors on the controller. Next we have a mounting template with 3 pre-cut holes. We have the device itself. Let's move that to the side for the moment. Below it we have the AC-AC adapter. It's chunky, as they all tend to be, and it's a matching white color. As expected, it turns 120 volt AC input into standard 24 volt AC output at up to 1 amp with 28 watts of peak draw. At the other end of the cable we have a barrel jack connector. Next, we have 3 sets of wall anchors and mounting screws, a Phillips screwdriver. Now we have the unit itself. It's all white with the ImoLaza logo at the top. We have a ring of LEDs with numbers, and a set of buttons for manual watering control. The whole front face has an interesting indented geometric pattern similar to that in the ImoLaza logo. On the back, we see a keyhole hanger slot, so the controller can slide into a single screw in the wall, as an alternative to the fixed 3-screw mounting option. The front panel comes off if you pull it straight up. Inside, we see manual watering instructions. Here are the 2 magnets that hold the panel in place. They fit into 2 indented areas in the main body. Here we can see where all the wiring will go. There is a barrel jack connector in the center for the included AC adapter, but if you're instead using a hardwired supply, there are terminals on the left for 24-volt AC input. We have a common, master valve if needed, 8 channels, the barrel jack, 2 sensors, and another common. These blocks are where the extra terminals for the 12 and 16 channel models go. Overall, the ImoLaza controller looks fine, better than traditional irrigation controllers, but not too flashy. Now let's head over to our installation zone. We have our current Wyze controller plugged into an AC-AC adapter below. While we're here, let's physically compare the 2 controllers. The Wyze controller goes for more of a digital living room aesthetic. It looks much cooler, but the manual controls are less functional at a glance. The ImoLaza controller's flat shape makes it stick out less from the wall. One thing we do appreciate is Wyze's spring-loaded wire terminals, which make for an almost toolless installation. ImoLaza uses traditional screw terminals, which are a bit tedious, requiring a screwdriver to loosen and tighten. On the flip side, you'll only need to do this installation once, and the screw terminals are probably more secure in the long run. Let's get started with the installation. First, we'll pull the Wyze controller out of its bracket. Here's the ImoLaza controller below the Wyze bracket. Now we've removed the black Wyze AC adapter. It's the same 24-volt AC output as ImoLaza's, and both use barrel jack connectors. Now we've removed the Wyze bracket. The template shows we wouldn't be able to fit all 3 screws in our mounting area, but that's not a problem. The ImoLaza controller is light enough that we'll just use the keyhole hanger mount with a single screw. The mount position will be something like this. Let's get our screw in place. We need to match up the screw position with the keyhole. Now we'll tighten the screw a bit to get the controller closer to the wall. With the wall mount ready, we'll detach the controller and loosen the screw terminals. We need to transfer each of the wires from the Wyze to the ImoLaza controller. These are already labeled, but if yours aren't, use ImoLaza's included labels. Now we'll screw in each of these. We'll hang the controller back on the wall. We'll plug in the power. The LED ring is flashing now. Let's reattach the cover. Now let's get the app. It's just called ImoLaza. We have to create an account. We'll tap Add Controller. It asks for permission to connect to the controller and to send us notifications. Here's our controller. We'll tap on it and enter our Wi-Fi credentials. We'll set a device name. Then enter our street address. Next, we'll set up our sprinkler zones. For each zone, we have an option to test it to help identify it, but in this case, we know what each zone is, so we'll just name it. Front yard. You can upload a photo of the area if you'd like. We have to specify the type of plant cover. Here it's cool season grass. We can click into each for more information. Next, we're asked about the type of sprinkler head. We're going to pick gear driven. Next, we're asked about the soil type. We'll pick loam. Next is sunlight. We'll pick 6 to 8 hours. Slope. We'll pick slight, 4 to 6% grade. Land area in square feet. Let's put 1800. Next is allowed depletion, which is how low available soil water can go before water stress. We have no idea, so we'll just stick with the default 50%. Zone 1 is done. It now has a check mark next to it. Now we'll repeat the process for Zone 2. This is the side yard. Cool season grass, gear driven, loam, some shade, flat, 500 square feet. Next is Zone 3, the front flower beds. We'll pick shrubs, fixed spray head, loam, lots of sun, slight slope, 1000 square feet. Zone 4 is our front and side yard, cool season grass, gear driven, loam, some shade, flat, 1000 square feet. Zone 5 is the rear flower beds, shrubs, fixed spray head, loam, some shade, steep slope, 1500 square feet. In this case, we only have 5 zones, so for each of 6, 7, and 8, we'll just press the tap to disable button. Now all the zones are set up. The app shows us we have a new firmware update. Now we'll wait a while. We're back. Let's tap the water drop button for a quick run. We'll do the side yard for 1 minute. Now it's in progress. We did find the pause button at the center to be a bit fiddly. ImoLaza says that'll be fixed. But we can see the yards being watered. On the controller, the respective LED pulses when a zone is active. The app's Home tab shows us the weather forecast and water usage. The Schedules tab shows schedules and watering calendar. The Zones tab shows us our zones and the last run time. Now let's make a schedule. You can manually define a fixed schedule, but we'll stick with the ET Smart schedule. We'll select all the zones. We have a suggested watering time, which is broken into per zone timings. The suggestion seems a bit long, so we'll have to test and adjust. Next, we're asked if we want to break up the watering to prevent runoff. We'll select all of these Smart Weather Genius skip features. We'll pick watering on any day. We'll leave the start date as today, no end date. Here we can control the time of day. And we need a name, so we'll just call it schedule. Here we go. Tapping on the schedule shows us all the parameters we just set. To move ahead and see our August watering plan, we need to tap the little caret arrows next to 2024 July. Hopefully ImoLaza will enable swiping left to right on the calendar instead. Tapping on a particular date, we get the projected weather. If we tap water delay at the top, the controller will skip all schedules for any dates we pick. Setting a schedule to only even days yields, as expected, a watering calendar with dots for every other day. Now let's take a look at the Settings tab. Standby mode allows us to suspend all schedules for a given period. The main use case is for winter. In history, we can see a pretty granular record of when different zones were run, for how long, any exceptions, and when the controller was online, offline, or updating. This is a pretty unique and potentially useful feature. In controller settings, we can change the location, Wi-Fi credentials, or the indicator light brightness. The controller's LED ring pulses blue by default, and so you might want to adjust the brightness depending on where the controller will be located. We can also adjust sensors, weather station, and other site-specific settings. Tapping on the little person icon hidden at the top right takes us to account settings. The main item of note here is notifications. One piece of feedback we gave ImoLaza is that the default notification settings are useful during initial setup, but a bit much afterwards. By default, we get a notification every time each zone starts or stops watering, which could mean dozens of notifications per day. So here we can select email or app notifications of different sorts. Note that these settings are synced across any devices you have the ImoLaza app installed on. We've told ImoLaza they should change that. You might, for instance, install the ImoLaza app on a secondary device, like a tablet, where you want more smart home notifications delivered than on your primary phone. Overall, we're pretty happy with the ImoLaza smart sprinkler system. ImoLaza's pricing is on par with entries from Ratio and others. One con is that while normal users, who might not know about root zone depth or crop coefficients, can stick to the defaults and still get a pretty good output, the ImoLaza app interface is still a half step less refined than it could be. More of an issue in our eyes is that ImoLaza does not yet integrate with smart home ecosystems like Home Assistant or Amazon Alexa, which they should really fix. But the pros are that ET Master has a ton of options, customizability, and reporting beyond what most other smart sprinkler controllers offer, and it's been pretty reliable in our testing so far. Check out the links in the description to get your hands on the ImoLaza controller. Thanks for watching. If you found this review helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more reviews and insights. See you next time.